Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, first question. Any benefits to being built like a Trex, I think you mean T-Rex? Long torso, short limbs. I've made numerous videos explaining how the big three are all affected by different ratios on this. So in this case, you're going to have a more balanced overall strength, meaning you're going to probably be somewhat better at the squat, right? Short legs equals big squat. Short arms usually equal a big bench. Long arms, long legs equal a big deadlift. In this case, though, your short arms, deadlifts are going to be hard. But you should be good at squatting and benching, right? That's what you should be able to do. Those should be your strong points, assuming you have these correct. Now, that being said, short arms and short limbs with a long torso, I'm assuming you're not short, your average height, and these are your ratios, meaning you seem to have short legs compared to other people at your height. If you're just short, you're going to be good at powerlifting in general. Like as far as weight classes go, you're just going to be good at powerlifting. Short people move the weight a shorter distance. So your pound for pound strength should be monstrous in a fairly short period of time on pretty much everything if you're just short. Where you're going to fail is going to be on absolute strength, right? In other words, short guys can pull 500 pounds at a light body weight. You might not get to 600 because you just may not have enough muscle to do so, right? So there's the difference. But again, I've done detailed videos on this in the past if you want to check them out. But assuming you mean that your average height with short limbs and a long torso, which would accurately describe that, then yeah, you should be good at squatting and benching, and deadlifting is going to be hard. Deadlifting is going to be harder. All right, next question. Top 3 bicep exercises. Oh God, man, why do you guys always care about the smallest major muscle in the upper body? I don't know if people are aware of this. They obsess over biceps. But you do know the bicep is smaller than the tricep, smaller than the delt, smaller than the pecs, smaller than the traps, smaller than the lats. Just a heads up. But that aside, I get it. People want big biceps. Well, what's all the research show? What's the research show? Not opinion. What do we have based upon data? I mean, we could argue about biomechanics too and leverages, right, and total weight on there. But if you start pulling EMGs, vertical pulls are king as far as any multi-joint exercise, right? Well, I don't even know that because technically curls are a multi-joint exercise if done correctly. What do you mean vertical pulls? Well, I mean, we could say lat pull downs and stuff, and actually lat pull downs do absurdly well on bicep hypertrophy studies, by the way. For those who haven't looked at it, and novice lifters, you can actually maximize bicep size off lat pull downs. Now, you say something like that, people will say, well, there's studies on rows. I didn't say rows. See, that's one of the things people are really bad about. When I say a specific word or mean something, they change it to mean something else. If I get the word wrong, of course, people will love to do that. Like if I clearly misspoke, use the word narrow instead of wide, that'll get highlighted. But anytime I say something like a lat pull down, people assume that means rows. No, we're talking specifically about vertical pulls. Vertical pulls do absurdly well on bicep hypertrophy. Not my opinion. This is what hypertrophy studies show. This is what EMG studies show. 2 different types of research consistently overlap. All right, go over and start looking at EMGs. What are your kings? Chin-ups, neutral grip pull-ups, barbell curls. Notice I did not say easy bar. I didn't say dumbbell. I was very specific. Full range of motion barbell curls, whether done strictly or with cheating. They work really well. This is where you see the best EMG activity. And what do they all have in common? Long range of motion of the bicep, involving two different joints where you are loading a lot of weight on it. It makes sense. It makes sense that you get the most activity. Incidentally, the more you try to quote unquote isolate a bicep, the less it lights up on an EMG. It doesn't even do better in hypertrophy studies. Lat pull downs hang with curls easily. You don't have studies where curls even beat lat pull downs for hypertrophy, at least in novices. So if you were to come back and say, what are our top three? I'm going to go with chin-ups, neutral grip pull-ups, and barbell curls. That's your top three. If you can't build big biceps off those three exercises, you just don't have the genetics to build big biceps. And I think that's a fair statement. And I am not particularly blessed in the bicep genetic department. We all know that. Right? But that's the reality. Those are your top three. And you know what? I would venture to say that if you guys who want bigger biceps, if you really put your efforts into those three, of getting really good at them, your biceps are going to get pretty big, at least relative to your potential. You know, it doesn't mean you're going to have Arnold's biceps for a whole host of reasons. Well, you don't have his bicep genetics. You don't have his magical supplement stack. You know, those two things matter, and I hate to have to be the bearer of bad news to a lot of you guys, but genetics and drugs are kind of a big deal. But as far as the training end goes, as far as your potential, you get good at all three of those and put in reasonable amounts of volume. By good, I don't mean your 1 rep max. I mean your 10 rep maxes. You'll build pretty good biceps. You'll be good to go. All right, next question and last question of the week. If you could play only one video game, what would it be? I'll be honest, I have not played any video games in a few months again for a while at all. I'm just too busy with other stuff. I'd rather use my time productively. Even if I'm just going to unwind and do lists, and I'm not really doing lists other than rucking a backpack. So I'm not really doing video games because I normally only video game when I'm riding a recumbent bike. But if I were to narrow it down, only one, this one's easy for me. Skyrim. Flat out, Skyrim. I can say that if I only played one video game, at least until newer stuff comes out, you know, in the next year, if I got back into video games and only could pick one video game to play for a year, it would be Skyrim. That's an easy choice for me. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.